We'll see if this works or not. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beyond the Frame. Apparently it worked, right? We are live in Menasha, Wisconsin. So apologies for those of you that are colder than us, but we know that's few and far between here. I'm just going to go ahead and put the stats up over here on the side so we can watch any comments that are out there. Joining me today, I have our special guest, Mr. Daniel Patterson. How's it going, Dan?
It's going good, Jay. How are you?
I'm still cold. And what did I expect coming this far north? But to all of our friends around the country, this polar blast is not going to last. And you're going to have, and it's good for business, right? When it's cold out, people like to go bowling. So that's good too.
It's a polar vortex.
A polar vortex, my fault. All right. So demystifying non-traditional leagues. Dan, what are non-traditional leagues in your opinion?
Basically anything other than the sanctioned, long season, mildly competitive, worries about the standing sheet, is concerned about the shot, really has a lot of complaints and talks a lot, those kind of bowlers. The ones that come in and they just want to have a good time and you kind of form a league around them. That's non-traditional in my mind.
I agree. So there's a lot of points you make there. This group of people, which we know as an industry, it's very valuable to us because they're the same kind of group of people that likes to come and spend, a little bit more dollars on their entertainment than a weekly league person would. Now, both have a very solid footing for our business hold. We want both types of customers, 100%. But you can't risk one to get the other. I don't think it does anybody a favor, not the customers for sure, when you try to take a non-traditional league player and shove him into a league because that's what you have. So what we're getting at is, in the recent couple months, there's been some real big success stories, people forming these rum bucket leagues, these other, and it's not just limited to them, but they're having a good outcome with convincing people to come to the bowl because they know it's a place that's going to be fun, that it can have some food and beverage, and they can have this experience together with other like-minded people. So when I say, I suck at bowling, come join me, that might spur my friends to be like, yeah, we suck at bowling too, but we like to have a good time. So let's go do that with every other week for 4 weeks. Yeah, I can do that. Do they consider it a league? Probably not.
You know what? I've had a lot of thought about this, and I think the industry as a whole has tried to get away from the league word because we think it's negative. And if you say league, it scares people. But then in the summertime, everybody joins volleyball leagues, softball leagues, all of these other things. They're used to leagues. I think it's okay to call it a league, but I think you have to be clever on your marketing. Make sure that it's fun. Make sure that's why lousy bowler leagues are a very big thing. They need to know that they're not coming in to be intimidated. But a lot of that is on the staff and us to sell it to them. This is the key piece.
No, for sure. And what happens with that is if the staff's not on board, first of all, if you don't have a plan from the get-go, you're already going to miss the boat. Like you're not going to catch on. So when we talked about, I think, why do you want the leagues? Well, you want them because you want to make revenue. But more importantly, I think you want to attract this customer base and let them know that it's okay for you to be a league bowler and not be on the PBA tour, right? Yeah. I think in the general public's mind, when they think of what that league environment is and they see it firsthand when they come in the door, it's a little bit of scary to some of them, or they feel like, well, I'm never going to fit in there. And this is exactly the kind of customer that you're losing money on. You're just leaving it sitting there. So when these rum bucket leagues came around, and I'm using the rum bucket league because they floored 1,000 bowlers. That's nothing short of stupendous in this time frame. Right. But what did they offer? So what I asked is, how do you start that? So we know why you want them. How do you start a non-traditional league?
Well, one is you just throw out some darts and ideas. And I know at the end, we'll probably talk about what to avoid, but you just want to try things. You can't worry about failing. You need to know your market. You need to know your demographic. You need to know what you want. And you really kind of laid out all of the reasons why bowling centers do that. And the main thing is money. We're all trying to drive bottom line and be successful. In order to do so, we need more customers that spend more and come more often. So these non-traditional leagues, what we're trying to do is take that retail guest that maybe just comes, it's a Christmas thing with the family, or we come twice a month. You're trying to get them to come more often.
Just 3 times a month. Come one more time. Yeah.
The other missing piece, which you kind of alluded to early on, and I think it's a very important one, is you look at our traditional league base. And are these typically in most centers, especially traditional centers like mine, do you think these are growing or shrinking?
Yeah, right. No, they're not growing anywhere. The only bowling centers they're growing in is the ones that had 6 centers around them shut down and they have no place else to go. So there's this false sense of, my fall league bowlers are up 4% this year, which is amazing. Yeah, but let's look at the total number of fall league bowlers that are available to the public to be, available to the industry.
Or you take a center like ours, which we purchased, which was very forgotten about for 5 or 6 years. We're going to grow them, but as the bridge comes, the only way you grow those bowlers, and we made a promise to these traditional league bowlers. We told them, you had a men's league, and they all say, we bowled this 40 years, and it used to be 27 teams, and oh, so big. We know that, we get that. It was kind of left alone. How do you find these new non-competitive bowlers that will come into that league and not be intimidated? By starting them on something non-traditional, getting them into that league format, getting them their bowling ball, excited a little bit better, then they get a lesson, then they go into the traditional league because they're ready for competition. They're not intimidated anymore.
Right.
It's the bridge. This is how you build your traditional leagues. It's one into the other.
And this is not a new concept we're talking about. The reasons we've outlined, we've lived our whole life, and we've probably heard many people say, but what stops people from actually doing it? And you just have to throw darts and do it. So how do you start it? You start it. That's it. You start with an idea and you go for it.
You exactly nailed it. It's the idea. And we've had a few, and some have worked in my other centers, some have not. In this center, the things that have worked amazingly, and this is nothing new under the sun. Everybody out here has tried these ones. A tattoo league. I know that doesn't sound crazy anymore. It used to.
Right.
But now that's one big thing. A fundraiser league has been huge for us.
Now that's something a little different that I think people have been ignoring. We know that the millennial and younger, Alpha Gen and millennial, that whole generation of consumer spending, they have habits that want to put their money into businesses that support the same ideals that they do. So they're going to Chipotle because they're GMO free, or I don't know, I'm making stuff up, but you see where we're going. If you run a facility in their market and you know that this is the audience I want to attract, and maybe you say our bowling center is powered by 100% green energy. That's our goal. That's a strong statement right there. And you're going to get those environmentalist people to come in the door and say, well, if they're going to support it, I want to support them. That's the mentality you have to adopt. Now, what is the right key for you? I don't know what the mix is, what the hook is for each business. That's different.
And for us, and it really is, each bowling centers in their own demographic. They have their own type of person comes in, age range, looks, feeling, money, like all of that stuff. But what you have to do is look at what's coming in the door and likes like. If I want to join a league, I don't want to join a league with a bunch of 80-year-old women that are cranky.
Because that's not you. Yeah, you would fit right in.
I want to join.
FYI, any women, 80-year-old women's leagues out there that are missing a cranky person, we have a sub for you.
I would fit in most weeks.
Me too.
But we learned from our clientele coming in, we do have a lot of millennials, and we all of a sudden saw a lot of them with tattoos, especially on Friday and Saturday nights. We started asking them. But the main piece of this, if you're going to do some type of tattoo league, some type of fundraiser league, some type of bar league or bar wars, the main piece is that you must go shop these businesses. You can't partner like the tattoo place. We went to two different ones because the first one we went to, we walked in and the service experience was not good.
So it didn't match up to your business model.
Right.
So your customers are going to go to that tattoo parlor and go, this is a crappy,
experience.
Yeah, why would I want that?
Why would you want that?
That's a really valid point to make.
And the other piece with that is once you get somebody like that that's excited, that we told them, yeah, if we do this right, you're going to get between 18 and 24 people coming in to get their first tattoo with you. And people know when they get tattoos, they keep coming for life, right?
And they'll develop a relationship with that place. Yeah.
Exactly. So do you think they sold it for us? Yes.
Of course they did.
They brought actually some of their own friends. They floored about 14 of the 36 bowlers that we had.
That's amazing.
Huge win. Yes.
And where did you come up with it? A dart on the board.
A dart on the board.
And some clever eyes and watching your customer clientele. So that's what it takes to start them. That's what you have to go after. So what are some of the things that I wrote down? I have made a few points I want to say. Remember, you're not dealing with that mentality. So what do they want? You need to make this environment, this league that you're doing, it needs to be fun.
Period.
That's the only reason they're coming to your building. They're not coming to get better at making a 10-pin. They're coming to relieve stress, pressure, have some cocktails and good food. If you don't have good food at your bowling center and cocktails, you need to work on that. Because it doesn't have to be 5-star Michelin food. It just needs to be good. And it needs to be exciting to them. So if you have tater tots and you don't know what to do, maybe you have a friggin' tater tot bar and you decide we're going to have 50 toppings for our tater tots. And it's not complicated, but it becomes a thing that people talk about. And that's a silly example, but it's a realistic example that you could do tomorrow. Environment is the key. So you're creating an atmosphere once a week, once every other week that you bring your friends to my building with, and we have a good time for 3 or 4 hours. And we're going to do this again in a couple of weeks. And we're going to do it for 8 times or 6 times or 20 times. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But That's the mentality of that audience. So if you can line your mentality up with theirs, get your staff on board and show them a good time, you're going to win in that atmosphere. Let's talk about some things definitely to avoid, because I think we've all learned we will learn from our failures. Well, I've learned a lot then. So, but some of the things I always talk about is don't make it complicated. This particular segment of your business from an organized play point of view, they don't want a lot of rules. They want to know that, okay, these are the rules, these 6 or 8 things, whatever it may be, but don't complicate it. No subs on a position round if it's a Thursday in December with a full moon. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Right. So we see that our bowling mentality creeps into the development of some of these things, and that's what you need to do as an owner operator, is to learn how to see that coming and then turn that off a little bit for this audience. Save it. It's valuable. You're going to use it with your traditional bowlers. You just don't need it for this audience.
Well, and even some of the social bowlers, after a few weeks, they may have a question about the rules and we can answer those, but you do not. And you talk about things to avoid. And I've seen this in some of the other centers in the past, pitfalls, and even some of the ones I've managed, and we stopped it immediately. But these league bowlers that were coming in to have this fun were immediately handed like 2 pages of rules. What do we not want, especially in the year of COVID? Do you know what we don't want anymore?
Rules.
Rules, especially when you're going out to have a good time.
Absolutely.
We no longer want rules. So we take upon all of that responsibility. We just say, you know what, you put your money in here, your names will be in, and we handle everything. Every question you have, we'll handle it. And beyond that, you hit the nail on the head. Don't make it complicated. And the second thing, and you said this as well, make it fun. Every week, make it like an event. Plan fun stuff. We have like grocery bowl. We put color pins out. You could have a no tap day. These people are coming to be entertained. And if you entertain them, they will come.
And they'll bring their friends.
And they'll keep growing. And these league bowlers roll over and over and over. People are going to go out every week and spend money no matter what. They are going to.
Yeah.
And you know where they're going to go spend money?
Wherever
where they
it's
have fun,
most.
where they feel welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
And we can do that. But a lot of the centers are still used to this traditional mentality of, if we're going to floor a league, here are the rules, go bowl, God bless. And nobody's there to entertain them. You need your cruise director. You need your league person that entertains these people every week, that keeps their pulse on if they're having fun or not.
Yes.
Otherwise, these leagues will come and they will go, and you'll never hear of them again.
And many people, who's their cruise director? Who is the cruise director in so many bowling centers across the country?
The random counter person.
Or the waitress, if they have it, right?
100%.
Remember, like if you have servers that you dedicate to leagues or to sections, they end up being your cruise director. Or if you have a really strong counter personality that walks the floor and they're not stuck behind there waiting for somebody to tell them to reset the 10 on 22, they're the people who are the cruise directors, because they know intimately everybody, right? Jim Krogson says, I love your background. It's the king of the, hey, I'm going to win this out of that big crane out there. And if you don't have that in your building, you need the crane, the giant one that looks like a house. It's awesome.
Then, like most centers, we're under construction, doing something.
That's true. We wanted to keep it real here on Beyond the Frame. We are definitely in an environment that, we're building.
Changing
Yeah, it's what we do. Okay, so we've talked about, why you want them, how to start them, and things to consider, things to avoid. Ooh, why don't you end today's show on a little bit of, give them some, that little boost that they need.
So my suggestion would be, if you were trying to do this and do this well, is you need to find that one person on your staff, and it can't be you. It can't be you. You have too many things to do. You're not going to be able to execute it. You can come up with the idea, the brainstorming, and make sure that the boxes are checked, but you need, as I say, your Sue. We have a Sue here, and she is phenomenal, loves talking to people. She gets energized when she's on the phone or marketing and wants people to bowl. You need your person that is untethered, that your job is to make sure they are not burdened by, when they walk in, of all this other stuff. They are there to floor bowlers, talk to bowlers, and make sure they have a good time.
Yep.
If you can't do this, and even if it's a small center, you still have that right personality.
For sure.
You need to untether them. Find a way. I don't have the energy to do that, but they do. So you need to have your person. Beyond that, you got to throw darts, get the ideas, the things that we've done in the past, and please steal all of these. A poker league where they're playing poker hands every time and they win free games or free drinks at the end of it. The fundraiser league, really think about this. Partner with some of the local fundraisers. We've had the most success with the animal shelter.
I was just going to say animal and food bank. Those are the two things that come to mind.
You partner with their Facebook page. They share it out. These people come in and bowl for 8 weeks, and then we donate off of every team $200. We still make our lineage. They still spend a ton of money. And then you get this picture at the end of the season with you holding a check to the shelter with these dogs and cats and the people. I mean, it's a win, win, win. These things just keep on going. So if you haven't tried a fundraiser league and that's all you get out of this, please pick one, try it. But you need that person in your center to have the energy behind it. So find that person.
Great talk today. Yeah, I appreciate it, Dan. So like I said, if you haven't done these non-traditional leagues, now's the time to go ahead, make some changes, throw some things out there. Consider this fundraiser league. I really like this concept.
Can I say one last thing?
Of course. No, we're done. Sorry.
We're in the middle of winter and a lot of the Midwest centers and stuff, this is peak bowling season. We're crushing it, right? The time to floor 50 to 60, even 20 to 30 brand new bowlers is mid-March. Have them go through the end of May, because then all of a sudden it's 72 out, and what do we have in our center? Crickets.
Bowlers.
Floor
But
them
if you
now.
floor them now,
It's exhausting, but floor them now. But you also have an untethered market on a waiting list on a Saturday night, which you're never going to see again. These people are dying to bowl, and they have not been trained that you know what you don't do when it's nice out? Bowl.
right, they don't
know
care.
They're not supposed to bowl when it's nice out. Get them on the leagues and get them now. Now's the time.
Well, you've got your marching orders, people out there. There's your inspiration. So thanks for joining us today on Beyond the Frame. If you want to reach out to myself personally or Dan, you please do so through Facebook, or you can email us. You can email me at excuse me, sure you can, Jay Nephew at cubic.amf.com. I'll be glad to chat with you. But until our next episode, and next week we've got, I think next week I have ABC Gates Bowl in Rochester, New York. Kelvin Parker is the acting manager there, and Russ Vallone is the new owner. So they go from competitor to ownership.
Exciting.
Yeah, and these are guys we've known for quite some time, so we wish them well. And we're going to have them on, and they're going to talk about some of the pitfalls that they've come across and what they've learned in their journey. So on behalf of Dan Patterson, Jay Nephew, Cubic AMF Beyond the Frame, thanks for joining us today. Go out there and start a new league. Get yourself 10, 20, 50 new bowlers.
I'm amped. I'm ready. I'm
Do
excited.
Do it. All right. Until next time, be good, guys. Take care. Bye-bye. You're supposed to say bye.
Bye.